offensive line. The Niners added a ton of players to this group. So far in OTAs, Trent Williams hasn't played. Alex Mack hasn't played. Mike McGlinchey has been out there every freaking day for every snap. Give him credit. I mean, I've dogged him a lot.
He's
Give him credit. He's bigger. He needs to be out there. He's doing everything right. Good for Mike McGlinchey. Laken Tomlinson's still there. I haven't seen much of Aaron Banks yet. He's still with the backups as is to be expected. Where do you think this offensive line stands right now? Is it a strength or a weakness?
It's a strength now. It's improved. Okay. Absolutely. I still believe that Banks is going to be the starter. And now you're talking about Alex Mack being there. The only thing that can really stop Alex Mack is an injury, God forbid. You saw how impressive this offense was when Weston Richburg was there. And it's about protection calls. It's all about being able to get out and move in front of people because he's a lot more athletic, a little bit of a smaller guy. Alex Mack brings that immediately, understands the system. It's plug and play. Tomlinson and Trent Williams stand to – I mean, Trent Williams is Trent Williams. We don't got to talk about him. But Tomlinson stands to benefit from what Alex Mack does as far as calling out protections, making sure that everybody's sliding to the correct blocker and things like that. So Laken Tomlinson is going to take a step forward. I honestly see this offensive line being a much better unit, clearly, especially when you consider second-round Aaron Banks, who will be starting. And now Daniel Brunskill, he can slide right into the backup center role. Backup center. Straight up backup center. No more guard, no more messing around on the rest of the line. Get those reps and be there just in case something happens to Alex Mack because Daniel Brunskill has that experience. And I have a feeling that if he's allowed to just focus in on playing center, that he can improve himself in a big, big way. So, I mean, this line is deep now. And if any possible injuries happen, you've got guys that you can rely on. That's something that a lot of teams don't have at this point.
I think they feel the same way about Brunskill that you do. I think they have the same vision. Like, let's bring in 36-year-old Alex Mack. He'll have the job a year or two, but we'll have Brunskill finally focus on a spot. Instead of making him the do-it-all, master of nothing, whatever. Anyway, instead of having him do every position, let's do one. None. Thank you. Let's just let him learn how to play center. I think they feel that he could be their starting center after Alex Mack. I guess the vision and hope.
And that's smart, honestly. Right now, it doesn't cost you anything. He's valuable depth. And yes, when he plays, he's a good player, honestly. But again, it's hard because when I talk to people who've actually played offensive line, guys who really understand offensive line play, you'll never understand how hard it is to move one spot from guard to center and how completely different the two positions are, even if they are one from the other. You're talking about being able to hike the ball, also being able to get your hands up, checking protections, and the same thing with guard is completely different, honestly. So, I mean, if Brunskill's allowed to focus on being a center, I don't see why he can't improve, and I'm betting on that he will because he's a smart football player. And never – I know this probably doesn't have anything to do with anything, but – his struggle from AAF to the NFL, that work ethic is there, honestly. And that's something that you really can't teach, honestly. The guy really got it out of the mud if he came from a now defunct football league to being somebody that people call Aaron Donald's dad. That's important.
That's the best. I love that. So real quick, the good takeaways from OTAs with the offensive line. There's no pads on, but what you need to know is Daniel Brunskill's getting all the reps at center. That's a good thing for him. He's going to have an entire offseason to improve at this position. That's good for him. And then the guy who's getting all the reps at left tackle, Justin School, that's a good thing for him. I mean, I feel like everything I said about Mike McGlinchey last year applied to School twice. I mean, he just didn't get the
Justin School. He was terrible. Would always be bad against the Packers.
Yes.
It didn't matter. Whenever he was in there and it was always against the Packers, it would just be like, oh my goodness, what's happening? For some reason, if you go back and you watch that Packers game where I think Trent left that game. No, wait. Trent didn't play because he was a close contact of them live together. He was getting beat like a drum in that game. But then there's other times that you see him against other teams and he's not like that. It's just something about the Packers. But School needs, again, reps at a position, doesn't matter what position you play, whether it's offensive line, defense, whatever. It's important. It matters. And the more you get, the better you get at it. As just the same thing with us. If we keep doing these shows, all we do is improve with each time. That's it. Reps. So get them their reps at their natural spots.
Agree. I feel you could argue that McGlinchey, Brunskill, School, all three of them need development and didn't develop at all last year. For whatever reasons, I think not having a spring training program was hard on the entire offensive line. They all came in underweight. I don't know what the hell happened, but that shouldn't be an issue this year. They all look good. They're all working. They're all doing the right thing. They're all developing, the three of them. So good. They're improving. That's a good thing.
Didn't help
Just the School too.
Yeah, did it help that Grasu was the week 1 starter at center, against Arizona?
That was terrible. People forget.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They had faith in Garland. He went down right away with the high ankle sprain in training camp, and the season was like, we talk about sometimes we'll do a discussion. Who's the one player this team can't afford to lose? Last year it was freaking Ben Garland, and he went down immediately. Yeah. Very interesting.
It's the center. That's how important it is, honestly. And you know when it's bad because you never notice a center being bad. If he starts to be bad, then it's even worse than you thought, honestly. That's true. Centers go unnoticed.
And so maybe it's smart that they're not playing Alex Mack. Like, what does he need to prove? He's 36 years old.
Nothing. He can wake up. He knows wake him up the day of week 1 and put him in. That's it. Like,
Kyle needs to do more of that stuff, man. He's getting way too many players hurt in practice, dude. I think the next step for you as a head coach is get less players hurt in practice. And the fact that Alex Mack isn't playing, A+. A+.